You smell what the Rock is cooking.
Acknowledge me.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
We are bad to the bone. Get it? Bad to the bone.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'll fight anybody. Who do you want? Just let me fight him.
Let me tell you something, Jim Ross.
Mega power, yeah. We got it for you.
We are the best of the best.
Woo! Wheeling dealing. Smart marks.
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
All right, welcome to another episode of Talk 'em in the Building, a pro wrestling podcast where we focus solely on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and of course we have to pontificate upon the promo. I'm Adrian, you already know it's no BS coming from me, and I'm joined by the bros here, the rest of the Talk 'em Pod team. We got Greg and Adelaide. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Ali, how you living?
Living, man. Loving the weather right now. It's a good day to be alive. So
nice. I'm with it. Listeners, if this is your first time checking us out, thank you, first and foremost. Be sure to leave in the comments where you're watching us from. We try to respond. Keep the comments cordial, and we will approach each comment with that same energy. Whatever you give us, we give back to you. But also like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. This episode, gentlemen, we're already halfway through the year. We can't even really tell. It's blown by completely. WrestleMania definitely does that, as well as All In and all these other big shows. But we're midway through the season. And me being a football man, me being a coach or a leader, one thing that I enjoy are making halftime adjustments. So for this episode, I'm going to present you guys 3 cases of superstars, in my opinion, that have huge potential, but we haven't reached firing on all cylinders just yet. So we're going to present it. We're going to talk about it. And hopefully, because all 3 of us are all knowing about this pro wrestling thing, we're going to give some advice to those superstars and those promotions so that we can see them at the tippy top. So before we get into this episode, or before we get into the main topic, gentlemen, I want to know, because we're halfway through the season, I want to start off with some love. And I want to show some love by asking you guys a simple question. And I'm going to go to you first, Adelaide. Who is your mid-season MVP so far in pro wrestling?
So I'm going to go a little more niche, and this may be recency bias because the last episode I talked about being at AEW 300 and whatnot, but definitely someone that I've kept my eye on, and despite all the noise, right, and just seeing it for what it is, I'm going to say from a character building arc, from a story arc point of view, with the most consistency, I'm going to give a nod from my perspective. I'm not even saying he's the best. It's just my perspective.
Yeah.
To one Hangman Adam Page.
Nice.
And I'm gonna break it down why. He's probably the singular reason why I'm back into AEW more than I probably was even last year, that I even care to turn it on and keep up with it and whatnot.
For sure.
He is believable. He speaks from the heart. When he wrestles, it has some meaning, has some relevance to the rest of the show. And ultimately, he still represents those early pinnings of what AEW was supposed to be, right? This alternative, this, maybe not us against the world, but this more, realistic look at a pro wrestler who really is all heart and is fully into it. We're kind of past this violent version of him with the swerve matches and the burning down houses and whatnot.
Right.
And now we're back to, hey, what keeps me going, what gives me life is being on top, is the AEW championship. And seeing him now have this run or this big match with Moxley coming up, that kind of encapsulated everything that I think we always wanted to see out of him. And
Definitely.
I don't know if it's a Pullman. I don't know if it's just I'm tired of seeing Moxley with the same gimmick for months now, and maybe that's by design because it is designed for
He's the
him to
heel.
be
That's it.
disliked, you know.
Right.
But he really kind of has leaned into that and um, just real smart. I think every time I hear his promos, they don't seem like the typical, point A to point B. I'm the baby face. I'm gonna beat you up, and
Right.
they're more nuanced. There's a little bit more meat on the bones. There's a lot of there's been a lot of payoffs to past storylines. A lot of nods to past storylines, down to the idea, which I didn't fully like, this idea that I think Osprey and Swerve are kind of taking a secondary position now to give him the spotlight. That felt a little bit inorganic and weird.
Right.
And it does feel like a means to an end. So I can see past that as long as they circle back to it.
Definitely.
But I think he's one, I would have said even an honorable mention might have been Osprey, but just if we're looking at who the top person is, I'm gonna hand it to him because he's done some quality work, and every package, everything that's been done up to that, it's been quality stuff from my perspective.
I agree 100%. That promo that he cut in Mexico in full Spanish was like, it's like you're taking this serious. You're actually the baby face, and you're getting the people behind you, especially going into this weekend. Like damn near any and every wrestling fan is paying attention to maybe not the entire All In card, but definitely that main event.
Yeah.
Like it's a couple of those main events that are cooking, and that's definitely one of them. So I do like that pick. Greg, who is your mid-season MVP?
So mid-season, it's kind of like the All-Star game, right? So
Right.
we got to pick somebody that you never know what's going to happen the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Man, up until right now, really since Mania, how can you not pick Jacob Fatu? How can you not watch how quickly he transformed? Now, we all knew what he had, right? It's not like he's new to us. We knew MLW, we saw all that. But the fact that they've kind of taken those reins off of him, no pun intended.
Right.
The fact that they kind of they let him be that subservient person to Solo, to where all of a sudden it started changing, and he's taken it and he's just run with it, and he's won the crowd over because he's different.
Yep.
And he's genuine. Like he comes across like straight up fact. I mean, he just real. He just comes across so natural and so real in a way of wrestling promos, which is what we talk about. Is not formulaic.
Yeah.
It's conversational, which
very
is
organic,
the
very
new
authentic
way, right? And it's just like, how can you not look at him and go, that dude right there has changed the game in a short amount of time and won people over that you would have thought he would have won over.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't have a mainstream look. He doesn't have a mainstream talk. Nothing about him is mainstream. But he's grabbing casuals, he's grabbing hardcores, he's grabbing everybody, and that's hard to do.
Hell yeah. Yeah. That's a good pick, man. I love Fatu. Even though he's caught a little heat recently from his little song and couple word usage, but it's like you said, man, very authentic. Is his character, it doesn't seem fake. It seems like that's him. If you walk up to Jacob Fatu, it really does seem like that's the character, that's a person that you're gonna interact with. So that's a great pick as well. I like both of you all's picks for sure.
I want Jacob Fatu, so yeah, that's a solid pick for sure.
One other thing about Jacob Fatu, I think part of the reason he's so hot now is because of how they introduced him.
Yeah.
Because they didn't allow him to just go off.
Yeah.
They allowed him, they kind of kept him as that bit player, and that, like I said, that subservient, I love you Solo. That's all he ever said. And it was just like, we're all sitting there like, oh, when this dude gets unleashed. And I mean, and the thing is, they've done it so well.
Yeah.
And I gotta give Solo credit, right? Solo's done a nice job for what he brings to the table.
He has.
And I mean, the two together, they're so different,
Mm-hmm.
but they play off each other so well. So I think one without the other, it just doesn't work as well. But
Mm-hmm.
man,
And
Jacob,
Solo's grown from Jacob too, from
He
that
has. He
interaction. I mean, he's
absolutely
found
has.
his little pocket, his
Mm-hmm.
personality. But going back to what you said, for y'all Simpsons fans out there, there's a Simpsons episode where there's like gangsters and Homer's like waiting for this one little dude to do something. This is what reminds me of Jacob Fatu. He's like, "Come on, Marge, come on, let's."
Oh,
He's
I
like, "We
know
gotta go,
exactly.
Homer."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh," and then off camera you hear, "Whoa!" He does like this crazy karate stuff. That's like Jacob Fatu's. Like they just kept them simmering, and I'm like, "All right, let's go, buddy." And
Yeah.
I really didn't think they were gonna go full blast with him, but they have, and it's been a treat. It's been a real treat.
it really has.
Yeah. All right, but my pick, gentlemen, I'm glad that all three of us have different people because that's what makes conversations like this fire on all cylinders for me. My pick, it's got to be the ring general. It's got to be Gunther. Gunther has brought it in the ring by delivering some of the better matches in pro wrestling. That WrestleMania match with Jay was top notch. Then they upped the ante on the main event of that Monday Night Raw where he beat Jay with, like we've talked about it, last 5 to 8 minutes were nothing but holes. Like you don't get that in modern pro wrestling anymore. And I mean, he brought it with his match against Pat McAfee. People were actually invested in that. And the reason why I'm putting him as my MVP has been his promo game. The man has brought another authentic promo, intense in spots, and I just love his promo. I just love how he comes across as a character of I'm going to not only speak down to my opponent, but I'm going to speak down to everyone in this crowd without it sounding too fake or rah-rah or scripted. Like he brings an authentic look as a champion. And if he carries, we haven't seen it yet, but if he carries Goldberg to a somewhat decent match this weekend, send him the MVP right now because the man has delivered gold. He's part of the reason why Jey Uso really, really got over the way he did, even though there was heat or people were behind Yeet. They really got behind it once it was Gunther pretty much saying, Yeet is stupid. You're a mascot. Like all of that. He was a perfect vehicle for Jay in this Yeet era or whatnot. So Gunther is definitely my mid-season MVP.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, even the whole how he's transitioned. I mean, look at him now. He looks like this whole European, real well-to-do guy, but he's scary. He's a scary dude. It's like
Looks
he
like
looks
a
like a
champion,
banker who can
man.
beat you up.
Yeah, right. He looks like a champ, man. And
It's good. It's the whole package.
And like I said, if he gives a somewhat decent match with Goldberg, somewhat, I'm giving him all the credit in the world. Shout out to Gunther. But all three great picks, fellas. All three great picks. All right, let's get into this halftime adjustments episode. My first example, gentlemen, and I put on here, I said, on paper, this group should just be on fire. It's set up for success. The Stickman is a Hall of Famer, probably the GOAT manager of professional wrestling by a lot of people's visions. You have a multi-time world champion, and he's flanked by probably one of the most talented young guys, but growing stars in the industry, as well as one of the most intense, possibly one of the guys who was really hot getting over. But for some odd reason, this group, this unnamed group, which is super weird that they haven't even come up with a name just yet, it hasn't exactly gotten to the level that I would expect at this point. This group's been together for basically a little over 2 months at this point, and we're still kind of waiting.
Do not respect me. So tonight, I will tsunami the respect into you, just like I did Seth freaking Rollins.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul. Tonight, the Empire strikes back. You know what? Scratch that. Pull that up on YouTube later. That's a blooper. The Empire tonight strikes first.
All right. I wanted to bring that one in particular because honestly, from this past Monday, I almost had to make a change to the run sheet because I was kind of liking the direction of that opening segment with this unnamed Seth Rollins group because I enjoyed Braun Breaker's promo. Bronson Reed's promo was solid, and Heyman, like what the hell are we talking about? There's no need to even review that. But my question to you, Greg, am I off by saying that this group is not where I and a lot of other wrestling fans expect them to be at this point?
100%. I think when I watch it, there's not the chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
There's not. It's like an odd couple, trio, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't connect, and there's no. I don't know. Like when I first saw it, it's kind of weird, right? It's kind of like when I first saw it, I was like, my first thought was, please don't let these other two be just job boys for Seth, which we see so often, right? You have the heaters, right? Like back when Curtis Axel became a Paul Heyman guy. He just became, he's the one that's going to get beat up, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we haven't had that. But I think where the missteps are, they want to be heels.
Right.
But people love Seth. People love Braun. And it's not, when I first saw it, it was almost like, you remember back when they turned Rock and he went with Vince.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the verge of that huge babyface run. Like everybody was like right there, and they're like, "Oh, you ripped it away from us." But Vince had heat,
right?
And so when he flipped, people were mad. People love Heyman,
right?
They've been loving Heyman. They love Seth. I kind of feel like the misstep was the Seth turn and the Heyman turn at the same time.
Mm.
Here's two baby faces turning, and then Roman goes away. So it's kind of like
part of it, yeah.
That's
a huge part.
Yeah,
that's where the turn was, and that's where I think the feud could have been. We've already had Punk and Seth,
right?
So much. We should have had Seth and Roman right after Mania, in my opinion, and then they should have taken Roman out. Like it should have been, his little group. They should have powerbound him through the table. They should have been the reason he's gone. Storyline wise, out.
Right.
They didn't get any of that. So now everybody's kind of like, okay, what are we going to get? What are we going to get? And I just don't feel like it's connected.
Yep.
And they try, right? But people just want to cheer them all.
Right.
Yep. All three, four.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes, throwing Heyman.
Yep. It's so weird how this is just like what you said. They pretty much plucked Braun Breaker, who was over, even though he was a heel before. It wasn't even like he turned officially to join the group. He was technically a heel, but he was over and everybody loved him. Everyone loves to bark. Everyone loves his moveset. Like the dude was over as a babyface, essentially, even though he was a bad guy by storyline terms, right? And then Bronson, before he left, like that tsunami stuff, we were all enjoying that. We were we were enjoying the fact that he was this uncontrollable monster who was just putting people out of commission. And like you said, with Seth, people love singing that song. People love singing that song. And I don't think until they change his song or make it where you're not singing along with him, you can't really just present him as a bad guy, because it's dumb, essentially. It's the same thing I used to critique with Jericho. Like, people would sing Jericho to the ring, sing with him, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to look at him as a bad guy. Like, logically, it's not smart. It doesn't come across well on television. If you're there in the crowd, you're going to enjoy yourself. You're singing with him, but he's a bad guy. Why the hell would you technically be singing with a bad guy? If I see a heel, I want to boo that person. That's what's really going to drive something. So, Adelaide, I want to know, what, in your opinion, what's missing from this faction other than a name?
I mean, we know. Didn't he change his name to the Oracle now?
Yeah,
Which is,
he did say that, didn't he? He said, "I'm the
it's like,
Oracle of Seth Rollins."
are they the Matrix? I don't know.
Wow.
I think for me, it's, what are the stakes, right? It almost feels like the stakes are very, very by the numbers. It's like, okay, so you're a super group and you have these individual feuds. Like Braun's always has this thing with Penta for some odd reason that it doesn't make sense organically. And I think that's the key. There is none of their group dynamic feels organic. It doesn't feel like it came out of a shared interest, out of a shared enemy. It almost came out of necessity, because there was a vacuum created when Roman left.
Yep.
Right, he leaves after Mania. Punk comes back, but he ends up pairing with Cena lately, so that he kind of veers off. And then Penta's just been plugged in wherever he's needed, essentially.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, okay, so where does that put you? Because I don't see a challenger. I don't see you guys. You're not badasses who are going to kill everybody like a Brock Lesnar. You don't stand alone completely, because that would be Seth, and he wouldn't need your super group like when CM Punk was Heyman. And I hate to say it, if this doesn't take a turn soon, will it die in a couple of months, a la a Cesaro and Heyman? Because
I would hate that.
that had its well-placed meaning, right? But ultimately, that just didn't have legs for whatever reason. So I wonder, and if we're talking about adjustments, my biggest adjustment would be is they need another cohort. They need another group to go up against, because otherwise this piecemeal thing, and I don't know if they're going to take that to Survivor Series. I don't know if something they figure out at SummerSlam, but it needs this bigger group dynamic that makes them look like a threat to more people, rather than just segmented and fractured,
And it kind of seems like they have attempted that a little, because at the beginning of this group's actual run, per se, they were constantly matched against Punk, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn. So I mean, and those are three of your baby faces, at least, looking on the roster. But it's like y'all have said, it's some kind of disconnect with this group, and it's one of those things where I'm pulling for it, because watching Braun Breaker turn as babyface against Seth is gonna be money. Like, I can already see it. It's gonna be fun. People are gonna be barking and going crazy, but it's just not started. It's stumbling out the blocks, man. It's stumbling out the blocks, and I don't know, man.
Let me throw something at you.
Yeah.
Just a total storyline. Let's say you have to pivot. I'm not saying this is the plan.
Yeah, let's do it.
Or was the plan.
Yeah.
Fantasy book. We go to the War Games, and we have Seth's group, or something to that effect. Seth's group, add another one, maybe 2 other people, against Roman's group that happens to have the bloodline, but not the full bloodline. Let's take Sami out or whatever. and they turn on Seth. And Roman was the behind the scenes the whole time. This was the plan. And they just use that as a storyline and say the whole time, you cost me the title against Cody. So now we have a 2-year storyline, or longer than that, really. But you cost me the title against Cody. There was nothing on the line at Mania. So Paul and I came up with this to suck you in. And now I will take you out.
That would be a Vince Russo swerve if I ever
Bro,
saw one.
that would be like, that's like some old Dusty stuff. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Dusty,
yeah.
but I mean, you think about it, because you got Bronson in there.
Uh-huh.
Braun's the only one that doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
But if you had, let's just say you had Solo in there, like whoever you had,
Yeah.
and they just take out Seth.
I would love that because Seth is probably my least favorite wrestler currently on that roster.
But then now you have a storyline straight to
Seeing
Mania.
him get stomped out. Yeah, I would
You got a
love
storyline that Roman doesn't come back until later. It doesn't even have to be at War Games. It could be wherever, right? But it has to be a turn. But then Roman doesn't come back. He's like, yeah, I set this whole thing up to get back at you for what you did to me. With the blow off at Mania, Roman comes back for his attraction. He comes back, he hits Mania, then he disappears again.
Ali, what are your thoughts?
I think it'd be an interesting way to reintroduce Roman as this kind of, puppet master of sorts, and reintroduce him in a way that he basically picks up where he left off. Right? There's all this discord. There's all this, infighting in the bloodline, and then you have a returning Roman who tells everybody like, "Hey, straighten up.
Fall
We're
in
back
line.
to it." Yeah, it's like you're either with me or you're against me, essentially. And then maybe that's where, if we're going down that path, then I'd argue then Seth would have to be automatically some kind of baby at that point, babyface, but he can't be alone. There has to be a crew with him, right? There has to be some kind of positioning of people that have been wronged by the bloodline over the last several years, who like, hey, we're not going to stand for it anymore. And your marquee would still be Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, because
Seth and Punk team
Seth
up.
and Punk, right? That's just the enemy and my enemy is is my friend,
And
or
Drew
something like that.
McIntyre.
And Drew forges the unholy alliance with Punk for once.
That would be crazy.
Because you got some big hitters outside of the bloodline still. I mean, let's be real.
Whenever Owens comes back, he could fall in line with that too.
This is true.
But I don't know. But there's got to be a way to save this thing, because it's just not good right now. But I still feel like the missing piece was Roman. Judgment Day turned on Edge. You had the feud with Edge.
Yeah.
I mean, even when Uso and all them turned on Roman, you had the feud with Roman. You got to have that person, and the turn wasn't again on Punk. The turn was on Roman, and then Roman disappears.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's a very good point. Roman is probably the biggest piece to this missing. That's the biggest missing piece, man.
I don't want to give him too much credit, because who knows? People get injured, things change, people are not available. And then I don't know, after the whole Rock debacle, my confidence is not exactly there for long-term storylines. But just judging from, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for the last 2 years, right? And how they've built up the storylines. They got to be building up to something that we're just not seeing, or we're just not being privy to, because you don't just throw them together without some plan where they probably already know like what the main event is, and probably maybe the top couple matches on the card. They're just finding a way to get there, and maybe this serves some end. There's a means to an end, so that I just don't see the path there myself.
Right. Right now, it's pretty unclear, because this group should, on paper, this group should be top notch. They're being positioned as essential main event of Monday Night Raw. Like the past month or so, they've been opening up the show. They've been in the main event. They've been involved with all the major players, but it's just missing. It's missing that little push. So maybe it is Roman, man. I
What's
don't
that?
know.
And then the only thing they have is the Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
Judgment Day has everything else.
It's true.
that's true. Maybe Judgment Day is the should be facing them. Like, should they be going against Judgment Day? Do you not see Judgment Day on that level, or like?
I think if I think you gotta be careful because Judgment Day should be on that level. And if you bring them in and then they just take everything away from Judgment Day, you just totally cut
That's true.
all the momentum off of Judgment Day.
That's true. That's true.
Because to be real, Judgment Day at its heart, I mean, even in this current, they feel like kind of a joke group ultimately. They don't feel, to me, they're not a group I take seriously, even though they're the champions.
Right.
I don't take them as serious contenders.
They're mid-level. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
I mean, that might be by design, and we don't. When's the last time we got, Finn Balor, badass? He's settled into this. Hey, I'm gonna be funny do these backstage skits, so to speak. Even Dom this past week with AJ.
Yeah. That's true. That's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, good talk on that first one, gentlemen. I think those were some good suggestions. Let's come up with a faction name, Seth. Please, for the love of God, give me a faction name. All right. The next example of halftime adjustments, very much so are needed in this case. This wrestler at one point, by a lot of our standards, was the best in the world. A lot of us were all in on this guy, even though he didn't speak one lick of English. He was the best in the world. We loved his drop kick. We loved his entrance. We loved his robe. We loved all the pomp and circumstance of this guy. Hell, I went out to California to see this man perform. But for some reason, it's not working right now. And even though this weekend, he's probably going to gift the people with his best dance partner. But I got one word, and I'll just let him say it because I've been trying not to curse.
I pressed the wrong button. I'm so sorry! Bitch.
Ay.
Yeah. So, the Rainmaker. It hurts my heart. This AEW run, and I'm just going off of this year so far. This Rainmaker run is very concerning out of league. It's very concerning.
I remember staying up till a terrible time of the night just to watch these matches, and he was the marquee dude that I'd be staying up on Japanese time.
Yep.
Was really looking forward and making my third cup of coffee the other night,
Yep.
And to see this version, there's an expectation as a fan, and then I wonder if he also had this expectation of, I need to do these things to connect with an American audience. And I think there's somewhere in between. I don't think this is it, and I didn't think this was ever it. And part of me thinks is he just pretty much comfortable with this? We talk about who set the precedent for something like this. It was a Nakamura, right? Or even a Finn Balor, who you make your art in Japan and you make your money in the States. And I wonder if that's the mindset now, whereas I don't want to think fully it is, but I wonder if there's an element of that. I just wonder how much the language barrier is, and that's not to say, look, anybody listening to this, you're pretty much probably very tuned in to pro wrestling, and he had his goofy gimmick in Japan too. Let's not overlook that.
Balloons Okada. Yeah.
Balloons and the hair and the whole deal.
Yeah.
So it's not like we haven't seen some version of this. It's just it's ran its course. And if I had to do an adjustment, this All-In Weekend would be the one to do it in.
Definitely.
To be like, all right, this is no longer goofy Okada. We're done with this gimmick. Maybe he does some kind of run-in with the Young Bucks match, cost them something to make me care that this gimmick is dead and gone, because it wouldn't take that much to do it.
And I will give Tony credit when it comes to the build of Omega Okada.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying to take this serious as much of a challenge as it is for Kenny Omega to have a serious angle or gimmick or anything like that. Same thing with this current Okada. They have been taking it somewhat serious, and I have high expectations for that match because those two, when they're together, is some of the best in ring.
It's art, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
it's art. And
Greg, what are your thoughts? And also taking account that allegedly Okada's making 4.5 a year. 4.5 a year for this. What are your thoughts?
My first thought as soon as you pulled him up was, I think, well, his one word is paid.
Yeah,
that was my first thought.
That's a fact.
I mean, beyond that, though, JR always says it's cash and creative, right? Those are your two main decision makings. He's making the cash, but if they keep this up, there's no way he stays because of creative. There's no way. He's too big of, or had the potential to be too big of a star, and he became a bit player right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember when he first hit the scene, and they just kind of like killed him almost right away. They Hoganized him, like Hogan did so many other people in NWO, allegedly. And then you look over to the other channel, and Tama Tonga, who was much lower level than him, was a bigger star in a week. And it was like, what in the world just happened? How did this happen? Okada had the world in his hands. It's just, that right there, when we talk about the positives of AEW, what they've done recently with Hangman Page and all of that, and makes us want to tune in. Every time I see Okada, it makes me want to tune out because of the potential sitting right there.
Definitely.
And he's not even funny. Like, it's not even, not just, I guess, not for me. It's not that what you've seen him, he's not good at what he's doing, in my opinion. He's not a Truth. He's not a Santino. He's just a comedy bit player that I feel like the Bucks said, oh, we don't want him to overshadow us, so you stay over here in this corner.
I think that's one of the shortcomings for AEW is that they do cater to their niche crowd. Like, they're the casual fan watching AEW, you're gonna be lost, and that's just a fact. Okada pops that AEW crowd with this. That him saying bitch and all of that, that's over with them. But in terms of casual fans, in terms of my wife coming downstairs, hey, what are you watching? She sees Okada saying that, she's turning right back around and going upstairs, like that's where my disconnect is. Sometimes AEW seems to cater strictly for the sickos, which is their term or whatnot. And I get it, but in terms of casual fans, mainstream, more people coming to your shows, I have yet to see them make that effort. So I'm hoping that, like we said, after this weekend with Okada and Omega, that we see some kind of shift with Okada where this dude's one of the best wrestlers that I've ever seen in person. Hands down.
Think about what you just said. A couple years ago, Omega and Okada was it.
Yeah.
This is almost not, I hate to say throwaway, but it's so lackluster with what they got.
I don't know.
It's lackluster from what it could have been.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like,
so, I mean,
in most cases, 5 years ago, this should be the main. This is 100%. A main event of something. but I will give them at least credit. I'm trying to give them grace. I'm trying to give AEW grace. And I've said that was my New Year's resolution, was to give Tony and his creative some grace. And damn it, I'm trying, Tony. I'm trying, man. The build for Okada Omega, with it being, the unified belt, they're making it a big. They're presenting it like a big deal. And even though it's not the top belt, they're damn sure pushing it like it's one of those. And we know that they're going to deliver when it comes to the wrestling, because that's what AEW hangs their cap on.
Yes.
This is the match to showcase that, and hopefully they deliver,
So I have a question, and this might be a little future thinking. This might be more in the play. If you go back several years, and this is around the same time that AW doesn't exist, or there's some notion of it, there's a couple of people that WWE wanted to sign. That was the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Okada, to the point that Okada, at one of the shows on the West Coast, I believe, ends up backstage at Gorilla while signed to New Japan next to Vince McMahon, next to Triple H, right? Something to that effect. And he was just a guest, right? Obviously, there were some plays, whatever it might be. I'm thinking, what does that version of Okada look like if he signs at the time, not with the regime change, right? Just with what we knew at the time. Does he take on the same similar piece? Does it go down the route of a Nakamura that has some gravitas initially, but ends up dead in the water once he hits the main roster? Or what does Okada look like? Because now I'm thinking that contract's not forever. He's not that old. I think he's settled on living in the States at this point, and he has like a translator. He has people here basically taking care of him. Doesn't Okada sign a TKO contract and have this redemption arc where he's like, okay, I'm back to business? Or can that play happen in AEW where he gets the best of both worlds? To Greg's point, is he gets to make the money, and he also gets the creative, because one of the things that came out of that Tokyo Sports interview, and they say, why did you settle with AEW? It was actually really reasonable. It's like, I want to challenge myself. I want to speak in English. I want to try out things in the States. And he had a very comfortable deal in New Japan, and clearly they doubled his salary, because that's an insane amount of money to be making now. Do you think he makes the jump eventually, or is he comfortable hanging out with his friends, right? Because he's essentially with friends right now.
I think money talks. I think the bigger question, at least in my opinion, would TKO pay Okada more than what Tony is willing to pay? I think it comes down to that, because I don't know. 4.5, like how much is Randy Orton making annual? How much is Roman making? Like that's their those kind of guys. I don't know. Are they willing to even pay Okada that much? I don't think they would even touch that.
Not in these years, no. You're right.
Yeah.
No.
I think the key is, do I think he goes? No. And I think because he sits back and looks at, how do they handle Shinsuke? How do they handle Kari? How do they handle Io? How are they handling Asuka?
Yeah.
I think Asuka has been up and down. Shinsuke, I don't think has done himself any favors. I think also that match he had with AJ hurt him, because that match did not live up to the expectations.
No, we were looking forward.
I think that hurt him early on. His most recent incarnations were better to me, but at that point, I think he was a little bit too little, too late. And would you pay him that kind of money coming off of AEW with this current character? I don't know the answer, right? I'm not saying you would, you should, or shouldn't. I think for TKO to sign him, they look at what would that impact make for us in Japan.
Fair point. Fair point.
Because at the end of the day, I'll use your hometown team out there. The Dodgers didn't sign Otani just because of what he does in the States. It's because they gave them a footprint in Japan, and the TV deal they got out of Japan helped pay that contract.
Yeah.
And they're able to now have a whole new fan base where they're printing money because they have Otani. So it's the same type of thing for WWE. I would think, especially under this new regime, if we want that footprint in Japan, we got to go get somebody like this. And if we brought Okada back, we're heroes.
It'd be a great time to do it because right now New Japan is not exactly in a great place.
Yeah, they're struggling. They're definitely struggling.
But you think about if they brought him back, Shinsuke back, timing wise, perfectly for a Japan show under the TKO umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be
to
crazy.
my goodwill and winning over some fans, that would be huge.
All right, well, 4.5 million. Okada, congratulations and many blessings to you and your family because you're definitely cashing out right now, man. So hopefully second half of the year we see more of a serious Okada. You know, I understand it does pop the crowd and that AEW crowd, but from a mainstream approach and from a casual fan's approach, it's weird and it kind of loses me every now and then with that. But hey, c'est la vie. All right, last person that we want to highlight, gentlemen, and the reason why I want to highlight this is I really like this wrestler. I'm going to go ahead and say I really, really, really like this wrestler. I'm pulling for her, even though people make fun of her. They call her Bird Girl. They call her Baby Arms, all kinds of stuff.
Called Becky and brought her back at WrestleMania. I didn't. Becky secretly attacked you, and then Becky called me.
But there wasn't much hesitation in your voice, was there?
But I remember this one thing that you said. You said, Bayley is everything that I am pretending to be, and that Bayley would never betray you the way that I did. Well, how's that working out for you? Because it seems like she's not pretending anymore, is she? Hate to say I told you so.
Shut up, Becky. You can't get in my head anymore, okay? But she was right about one thing. How nice of you to finally admit it. You don't care about friendship when it comes to championship gold, right? You know what that makes you? That makes you just like her. And I know what I have to do now. On Sunday at Evolution, I have to rescue that championship from two massive disappointments.
She's one of my favorite wrestlers currently in that women's division. Her in-ring, I have to put her in up against any woman wrestler, period. That's AEW, NXT, WWE. Love her in-ring. But god damn, Greg, what is up with her promo? What is up with her personality? What's missing?
Nerves. I feel like they just don't. This is that intangible. This is that red light. This is that you hear about certain people. That red light comes on and they don't have it. And I feel like in the ring, this is where, in the ring, you can go find people all the time who can put on a 5-star match, who can do the moves, who can do all of that. But do you connect? And she's not got that connection. I feel like, and she's out there with Becky, who normally can get something out of you.
You would think.
You're out there with Bayley, who can get something out of that crowd's dead.
Yeah.
And I don't think they did any favors by helping when they introduced her. I still think they relied too much that people know who people are, the wrestlers are from NXT. But they just don't care. People just don't care. And at the end of the day, I go back to this every time you just talked about with Gunther and them. people want characters.
Yes.
And in my opinion, Chelsea should be in this type of role. Others should be in this type of role, not her. Just because she doesn't have that connection, it sounds very scripted. It's not natural. We just talked about Jacob Fatu, how natural it is and how different it is. That's what I want from her.
Yeah.
And really, with her and Becky going back at each other, even with the nice thing about Becky, she has an accent. It makes it different. But now we have both accents. You got to give me something else. I think about what Vince allegedly, said to AJ when AJ talked about it. Said, "I've got 100 guys that can do that. To do what you just did in that ring, I need a bulldog." And AJ said, "Oh, I got you." And then AJ flipped. If you think about it, right after that time frame, he knew this is what I got to do. That's what Stephanie has to do. That's what these girls have to do. They have to look at it and go, how am I different? What do I need to do? Go get with Heyman. Go get with, whoever else you got to get with, and find out what do I need to do to connect. And it's just missing.
Ali, I'm giving you the almost impossible task of fixing my girl and fixing her trajectory. I want to know, man. Give me a quick fix in fixing this daytime soap opera acting that I'm having to watch in between matches. It's horrible. Fix it.
There's something brewing, even in the way she phrases that in that same promo, right? That you can use to your advantage. She says, basically saying, "I hate both of you." Essentially, like you both wronged me in different ways. Which we go back to that Mania match and just the way that drew out, the fact that they they just put Becky already messed things up, and it should have been Bayley. And we can get into that conversation on creative. So I don't think she was positioned to be successful from the beginning. But let's just look at it what it is. You can fix the car. Let's make the plane as we're flying it here. Number one, let's get rid of the gimmick. It clearly you have your NXT gimmick, but it's not that different from Becky having the steampunk gimmick or going in full into her cultural roots in the very beginning. If you remember that, she come out dancing and whatnot. That's dead in the water. Let's get rid of the bird. The bird is not the word anymore. Get rid of her, and let's give her this identity. She comes out in street clothes. She has a little more edge. Clearly not confident. But to that end is, you're here with some heavyweights. I mean, you're here with people that have been there, have done everything and then some in WWE. There's nothing else for you to do. For me, it puts the work into Becky and Bayley to go to the back and say, what do we need to make you a star? We're done. We're made women, right? We've done the work. We're going to be here forever. What do we need to work into? And I don't know if that's been solidified. I don't know if there's something down the line. And she just needs one confidence boost, right? Just one thing to hang on. But I don't know what that is, because we don't know who Lyra Valkyria is beyond the gimmick, beyond, like you said, where not everybody watches NXT. Not everybody keeps up with everything weekly, especially nowadays.
Right.
So reintroduce her, have her do some packages, have her do some remotes, have her do something that will solidify her as a character, though she comes in as a fully formed person. And if we're really leaning into it, is, I'm going to borrow that piece on AJ, but twist it is, I am hungry. You are no longer hungry. You've been here. You've done that. Becky, you literally stole this championship. Bayley, you've been given everything, every opportunity. Congrats to you. This is not your time anymore. This is my time. Right. And I have a whole division of up and coming, hungry women who are here and ready to take your mantle. So please step out of my way, essentially, because look at a Stephanie Vaquer, right? She has a defined personality now. I don't know if she can go on the mic, but she doesn't need to right now. That's just the bottom line.
She's going, yeah. She's inching toward it, but I like that thought of giving her an edge, because she's one of the better wrestlers in women's wrestling. But this day and age, everybody damn near knows how to wrestle, man. So I think that edge would give her, make that difference maker for her, because like she's capable. I mean, I think she's capable because like watching her matches, I guess I'm glazing right now, but I love her matches because the woman is very smooth in the ring. But God, once you give her a mic, man, it's 2 left feet, man. It's rough, man. Now I try to cheer for her, but I'm like, man, cut this shit off, man, please.
But you wonder how she would do in pre-take segment, because like again, I don't want to bring anybody down because it ain't about that. But
yeah,
I'm watching this recap, and they do the Nikki Bella promo right on Monday Night Raw, and
right.
And look, my wife is she's like, oh, she's very much about hyping people up, like, oh, they're trying so hard, good for them. And she was like,
what is this? Right.
That's rough.
Yeah,
and like, and this is pre-recorded. So isn't there somebody to edit this down?
That was the best we got, man.
Yeah, so I don't know where it is. There got to be some middle ground there, you know.
Definitely, Greg. I don't want this just to be us, pointing out and critiquing of Lyra, because the main reason why I brought that promo, all 3 of us said Lyra is in the ring with 2 of legendary status, women's evolution. These are 2 of the stalwarts to that movement. Am I off by saying they're kind of underwhelming as well? I don't know if it's a motivation thing. I don't know. Like this Becky Lynch character, it hasn't resonated with me. What are your thoughts?
So first off, I feel like it started to creep into all the horsewomen that these girls are taking their spots. I felt it with Charlotte, and we talked about it weeks ago when we talked about Charlotte. You saw it with, I think you see it with Bayley right now. I don't think she's happy in her spot, and it shows. But I also don't think she's ready to pass that torch. And I feel like Becky, number 1, should not have been brought back as a heel. People wanted to cheer her, bring her back, and let her be cheered. But 2, it just doesn't feel like she's there to build up this talent. Just like when we talked about Charlotte and Tiffany, I didn't feel like Charlotte was trying to build up Tiffany. And you can still go over, but get your opponent over. And I don't feel like they're doing it.
Right.
Now, part of that's on the opponent, right? They got to step up. But the veteran should do everything they can to build that person up and make them look good. Even if you have to look stupid cutting your promo. Even if you're the heel, so technically you never look stupid. But go back to how, I mean, we talked about before how Cena buried a few people, like even Roman and others, and not, in my opinion, do the right thing of trying to make them look better. And I think that's what that promo was there. I didn't feel like Bayley made her look better. I didn't feel like Becky made her look better. And I don't feel like there was the effort there to make her look better.
Yeah.
I agree. Bayley has seemed phoned in to me for like the past 2 years, man. I don't know if that's a contract thing, like she's on her way or whatever, but she just seems super phoned in, bro. And I don't know, like I understand Becky has had a child. It's a new life for her. She has family. She has a husband. It's a whole different dynamic for her day to day versus the man that got so popular. But I just don't get this Becky Lynch character, man. Like you would like to look at her like a Conor McGregor, confident but also chicken shit or whatever. But I don't know, man. I don't know. And her matches aren't that good. At least for me, she's not convincing enough. I think she kind of fell off. I mean, do y'all agree? What are y'all think?
I'll give her credit for trying something new. I mean, she was basically, now there's no denying. It's like, okay, yeah, me and Seth are a thing. We're married, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna wear these goofy things, and it is what it is.
Right.
That's not her though. I guess we're living in a world where I can believe that. If it's a character, if it's like a mystery iguana, all right, great. I'm gonna live with I'm gonna live with your character. But with her, it just seems so inauthentic. To, again, not to go back to that word, but we talked about who we nominated as MVPs for the middle of the year. She could easily be one. To me, it's just like this gimmick just doesn't lend itself to see her full potential, which ultimately was that lining in the bottle when she was the man. Why? Because she was honest. She was saying like, I'm here basically to be who I am, and I've worked hard, and this is where it is. And I think Bailey's in the same position where what is there left for them to do other than to either be, ushering a new generation or being that final boss style. And right now it feels like there's this weird middle ground where if they're not wrestling each other, I don't know what comes of it, because what are the stakes for them anymore? Essentially, I mean, I guess Bailey had more stakes than Becky, because she was in the card, she was in the title picture, or in the main event picture. But it almost feels like this is a great time. We're talking about mid-season to reset and to say, okay, let's go back to square one. And we got a long time before Mania, which is ultimately where all these storylines should conclude.
Right.
And let's reset. Maybe Lyra needs a different dance partner, as do the other two.
It's just so weird because you got Lyra in the ring with two stalwarts, and it's just not. It's just not there, man.
And they might kill it in the ring for all we know. It's just we're talking about the character piece,
sure.
right?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna kill it Sunday. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna kill it. It's just character work, the motivations, the story is just not really drawing our attention. You made the comment of the crowd. The crowd was not engaged with it. And at that point of the Monday Night Raw, I want to say that was in the second hour. Like, you shouldn't be losing the crowd in the second hour. Second hour, we should still be, hyped up or whatnot,
So here's how I look at Becky and Bayley to an extent. I think Charlotte. I think Mercedes to an extent, but Mercedes pretty much is Sasha on the other channel. You went and saw Andre 3000 a few months ago, and you told me you left.
I did.
And even though you knew what you were walking into, at the end of the day, correct me if I'm wrong, you wanted some Outcasts.
I did.
All right.
Admittedly,
so
I did.
We go see these bands, whoever they may be, classic. And if they only want to play new crap, we don't want to be there. We want to hear the hits. If you go watch Big Boy and he'll throw in some AT Aliens and some other stuff like that, you'll be like, what? I don't. Okay, new stuff's cool, but I need that. That's where Becky is now. That's where Charlotte is now. That's starting to be where Bayley is now. We want you to be you. We want you to go back. I want to see the man. I don't want to see this crap. I don't want to see this new how I'm evolving. No, I don't want you to evolve. I want you to be this. Charlotte is still kind of Charlotte, but you still kind of want her to be what you were a little bit. Bayley's getting there. Bayley right now, if she came out as a hugger, people would lose their crap.
It's so weird that she hates that gimmick.
But think about it. If she came out with that, with the little gimmick dudes and all that, people would lose their minds.
Oh yeah.
That's where we're at. We want them to be. They are the classic. They are the classics. Yes, they're young, relative terms for wrestling, but we want them to give us that. Part of the same thing I think with Cena right now. People want Cena to be Cena, and we don't want to see this thing. We thought we did, but we don't.
Yeah.
We just kind of wanted that different edge, and we wanted let's call it what it is. We want him to turn heel and go back to Thugonomics.
That's true.
We wanted the classics, and I think that's where we are. So when we see no pop off of that, it's because first off, we're not invested in Becky. We're not invested in Bayley. And if you're not invested in the veterans, you're not going to be invested in the new kid.
Damn shame, man. Well, hopefully we still got a couple months before the end of the year. Hopefully they can figure something out because damn it, I'm a fan and I want the best for her because she's one of the best, man. She's literally one of the best in the world in the ring. She's so good. But that promo is just rough, and this Becky matchup with her has been so underwhelming when it should be firing, but it's not, man. But gentlemen, that's the show. We have some halftime adjustments. Hopefully, the promoters, being Hunter or Tony, they're listening and they caught some game from the fellas here because, of course, we know what we're talking about. We're lifelong pro wrestling fans. Listeners, thank you for checking us out. In fact, before we head out, in the comments, let us know. Let us know not only who's the midseason MVP for you, but also let us know who's disappointing you in pro wrestling. And we can start that conversation. Hopefully we can get something going there. But for Out of Lead, for Greg, I'm Adrian. We're Talking in the Building. We're a pro wrestling podcast that focuses on the promo. We talk about the talkers. We hype the hype man. And of course, we pontificate upon the promo. IntoTheBuilding.com. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all for checking us out again. Y'all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you in a few.